What's up, YouTube? I'm happy to announce that today is going to be the finale of the Road to Rank 1 series, and I'm also very, very happy to tell you guys that we did it. We succeeded. We secured Rank 1 Gladiator, also known as Cruel Gladiator, and our ending season rating was 2911. Okay, so 2911 actually placed me at rank 23, which was rank 19 when I went to bed, but when I woke up it was 23, and we got it. We secured it. We finished it out. I feel like this is a video that I want to make because I want to speak to a lot of people that I feel like over time have or are currently having the same problems that I've experienced, and this whole story is going to be one that I want to tell you guys over the next 10 minutes or so, right? And tell you kind of my story of what it was like to go from basically a noob to a rank 1 gladiator in just a few seasons time. It felt like it was a multitude of months to really understand how I was going to get that good at the game and be able to place that highly rated, right? So we're going to start at the very beginning here, okay? I want to show you guys real quick about the problems that I faced and tell you about how I solved them. So we're going to start at the very beginning, which is going to be the beginning of Legion, where I decided that I was actually really enjoying the game, even though a lot of people seem to disagree. They didn't really enjoy playing Legion, whatever problem, aka whatever, artifact knowledge, alt, whatever it is. But personally, I really enjoyed Legion. I still am enjoying Legion. I'm still competing. I'm still going. And I definitely had a really good time with this expansion so far. So at the Vindictive season, which is Legion Season 1, I felt like I was definitely a noob. I felt like I didn't know the flow of Arena. I feel like I didn't understand what in Arena happens with every single class. I didn't know how comps worked. I didn't know a lot of these different things in the mechanical aspects of the game. So I really focused on doing that for the first season. I went for Gladiator the last 2 weeks, but I didn't play throughout the season, so I didn't learn fast enough. I feel like if I started off Legion really strong and did the practices that I am going to talk about in this video that I did Legion Season 3, where I got rank 1 in, I feel like I probably would have had a lot more overall understanding of the game and might have been able to even get rank 1 in Vindictive or Fearless Season, but I did miss those, right? So Vindictive Season 1, I didn't really understand the mechanical aspects of the game quite yet. I didn't know all the class changes from WoD to Legion, even though I made some videos about it, but I didn't know like the in-depth structure of it, right? So Vindictive, I ended up ending at like 2550 or 2600. I didn't get Gladiator. I was really sad about it, but I also didn't put in the work. I didn't put in the daily effort that I put in Legion Season 3 to get rank 1. I didn't put in that effort. I only played in like the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season to try to get Gladiator, right? So I missed that, unfortunately. I played Frost Mage, I think Affliction Lock or Destruction Lock, with some people, and Holy Paladin with some people that I played with out of like looking for group, right? And they were like 2400 CR. We were all trying to push, and we ended up getting like 2600 highest possible. So not too bad, right? Not too bad for a season, but definitely have some improvement to go. Legion Season 2, Fearless, which I feel like a lot of people started competing in. I feel like a lot of the top players really wanted that Fearless title, and it was also only like 56 spots for rank 1. I also played Mage Lock. No one played Mage Lock at all. Like, no one played it. I was always just me. I played Mage Lock Restoration Shaman with Dia or Valu, and also Eels or Kappa. They had two different names, and two different characters, but I ended up playing with them, and we got Gladiator on our Restoration Shaman, Frost Mage, and Destruction Warlock. We were able to secure that really well. We ended up getting like high 2600s, and the cutoff was like 2630, and we ended up getting Gladiator. Pretty solid amount. Felt like it was pretty secure. It was just interesting that nobody played Mage Lock, and we ended up getting Gladiator with it. But I guess you could probably get Gladiator with nearly anything in this expansion, just because of how the class balance works. But I definitely think that I still had a lot of work to do, and I was still only playing Frost. I really wasn't trying a whole lot of specs, and I wanted to figure out what it was like to kind of branch out of that going to Legion Season 3. Legion Season 3 was where I decided that I was going to play every single bracket. I was going to play 2 versus 2, I was going to play 3 versus 3, I was going to play 10 versus 10, and I'm going to push as high as I can in every single bracket and see where it gets me. And I'm also going to try all the mage specs. I'm going to do everything I can to be a good player and to try everything possible at the time in order to be the best mage player that I could and improve a huge amount that I could, like whatever I could do. So at the beginning of the season, I tried a lot of frost, I tried a lot of fire, and honestly, fire was really boring to me. I feel like fire overall is just like a tanky mage spec, and I feel like honestly, fire probably takes a lot less skill than frost and arcane, because frost you don't have a whole lot of survivability since you don't have that cauterizing blink or cauterize in general or dragon's breath. You just have a bunch of slows and you die really fast as frost, and that was my biggest problem, is that it felt limited compared to arcane. So arcane overall, nobody played it. Like, it was so surprising because I feel like arcane is like the best mage spec in the meta last season, but nobody on NA played it at all. It was weird. The only time I really ever fought it was against Zaryu, and he played Windwalker Arcane Mage he played Windwalker Arcane Mage mirrors against me, and it was just me and him, and then Volkazar, who played Fire and Frost for most of the season, and then he played Arcane the last day and got rank 1 with it, so that was cool. But it was just disappointing that so many like good mages out there never played Arcane at all. Like nobody even like wanted to, and I felt like overall Arcane was the best, and that's what I put my marbles into. I decided that I was going to try all the specs for Mage. Mage was my class, and I wanted to figure out what spec I enjoyed most, and Arcane was the one that did it for me. The reason why I liked Arcane so much, just real quick I want to speak to it, is because I feel like Arcane had so much possible ways of playing the class. There was so much outplay potential with all of the displacements, the blinks, the prismatic cloaks that you could do. You still had Frost Nova, so you still had a root. You could do a huge amount of damage if you wanted to, and it was all based on your player skill, because where you stand and where you position and when you use gap closers or gap increasers or whatever you want to call it, in order to get away from people or use your displacements through walls or whatever, like that, in conjunction with fate casting, because Arcane only has one school that it can cast, so if you get locked on Arcane, you just can't do anything but block and Frost Nova. And I feel like overall, if I did not improve as Arcane and really understood that Arcane is a very fragile spec that takes a lot of skill, it takes a lot of like proactive play, if I didn't take the time to improve with that, then I honestly would not have gotten rank 1, because Arcane is a very, very glass cannon oriented, fast moving, but if you get stunned, if you get caught in a bad spot, you're dead. That's it. That's just how Arcane is, and I've learned that over the last few weeks, especially in the last week where we went from 2700 to 2900, and that was definitely an eye-opener for sure, right? So as I played Arcane, I played I think 150 to 200 matches a week. Like, we played 7 hours a day probably. We actually started to play with Buffalo Bill and Starfail. Okay, so I met those guys at the beginning of the season. I met Starfail more in the middle of the season. And Starfail overall, he was definitely he's a great dude, and congrats to him for getting his rank 1 title that he's worked so hard on. He's pushed the last few seasons and didn't get his title. He got really close to rank 1 but never really got it, and he mainly plays Boomkin. Okay, so I met Starfail, and he was definitely excited and positive about pushing and really committed to it, and that was awesome. And then we started playing with Bill, and Bill was definitely like the chink in of our armor. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not going to I'm not going to lie about it. I'm just going to tell the honest stories. The problems with the team that we had was Bill, because a lot of you guys watched my stream, and a lot of the rank 1 community also watched my stream and saw me queuing with Bill and Starfail. Starfail and I definitely got tilted a lot by Bill. Just the way he would approach conversations, the way he would call out healers' mistakes or my mistakes or whatever. We just could not play with Bill. He just, we played with him a lot. We would honestly never go up in rating because we were tilted ourselves. We would just not play well. And then also he wasn't playing well, so we had to find a replacement. And I made that decision about 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks before the season ended. I actually started hitting up Seth Curry to play some games. And Seth was an interesting situation. I didn't get it. Seth watched my streams a lot. He thought that the Bill tilting us thing was funny. So he just watched us, and then I actually asked him to play some Windwalker Mage with Starfail and I, right? And that ended up going pretty well the first queue session. The first queue session, we won a bunch of games against some really top players, and that proved to me that I could do it. That allowed me to understand that, these players can die. There's Still weaknesses for these 10 time, 20 time, 50 billion time rank 1 players. They still have weaknesses. They still make mistakes all the time, and you can exploit them. And it's not about the nerves. It's not about being nervous when you fight against these people, when they're streaming to 5,000 or 3,000 people or whatever it is. It's just about how well you play, right? And if you play well, you win the game. If you put in the effort to get yourself in a position as a player where you can play well against these players, then you're going to win the game. And if you win enough games, you get to the top rating and you get your rank 1 title. And that's how my story went. So we played with Seth for a while. First queue session went great. It was really hard to convince him because he was on a tournament team, and he was really nice about it. You know, he offered to help queue with us a few times to see if he could help us get rank 1 or whatever, be our third, be the replacement for Bill as a Windwalker. And it ended up being the second queue session we didn't do so well, and he had to go team practice, so we really didn't want to bother him. And, you know, he was nice up until, like, the last day, but for some reason, like, the last day, he decided to, like, snipe my current team and try to, like, keep us out of rank 1. It was really weird how he just went from, like, a nice guy to all of a sudden, like, trying to keep us from rank 1 or whatever. And I thought that was weird. He was, like even broadcasting about it and, like, bragging the fact that, like, he won a game even though we beat him, like, 4 times in a row or something like that. So I thought that was weird overall, but really weird situation. And I definitely see now that people that reach out to you to play or hang out with you or whatever, and vice versa, like if I reach out to someone and hang out with them, they're definitely not like like you have to get to know the person before you really see their true colors, right? And now I see that with Seth, so we couldn't play with Seth anymore. We just it didn't work out. He seemed to be only with his team, and that's cool, you know, good luck to him in his tournaments and stuff. But at this point, you know, we really didn't want to play with Bill. We really didn't want to, you know, we didn't want to bother Seth. And we wanted to kind of just dive into something new. Starfail and I both. Because Starfail was really burnt out. Really tired of playing the game and really tired of pushing. Because he had pushed so many times in previous seasons, right? And he never got his title, and he was always so broken about that. But, you know, I had to tell him whatever it is that he needed to hear, or whatever it is that I could, in order to get him to continue playing the game for 7 hours a day until the end of the season. And it worked out. So if there's nothing more that I can tell you guys in this video, it's just the fact that it worked out. And if you keep playing, if you keep grinding, if you keep your effort up, if you keep trying, if you keep improving, and you stay humble with your gameplay, and don't think you're a god, but think that you can improve in every single game, you will become good enough. You will learn, you will become better, you will get there. But you have to continue, and you can't quit, because there were so many times throughout the season where Starfail and I could have quit, or Starfail could have quit, or I could have quit individually. And there's so many times that could have happened this season. There's so much drama. There was so much different stuff that happened, especially on stream. You guys saw me explain so much on stream. There's so many things that could have happened that didn't, because we stayed on track. We stayed trying, Starfail and I. And Starfail and I really stuck through this to make it happen. And the last week of the season, that's when a new player came along. So, introducing Cheerios. Cheerios is a rank 1 demon hunter, rank 1 lock from Wrath of the Lich King and Cataclysm, and I've actually known him. His name's Jake. I've known him for many years. We've played together in like early Cataclysm for fun. I used to play against him in Wrath when he got rank 1 as 5s, and I've just known him a long time, but we really haven't talked a whole lot because he's kind of been on his own thing, right? He got rank 1 in the Fearless season. He got to 2750 on Alliance, which allowed him to get his rank 1 titles, so he's already a rank 1 player, right? And I saw Zaryu streaming some like Arcane Mage and Demon Hunter with Mezzadin, and I also saw in the Fearless season, I saw Volkazar playing with Thugonomics, Arcane Mage, Demon Hunter. So I was like, maybe this comp works, because I haven't seen Arcane Mages play anything but that. I was like, maybe this comp works. And Cheerios is a really nice guy, really positive, really excited to play the game. And he logged on 2 minutes after I asked him to play for the first time. He logged on, we played some games, and we won like 7 in a row. We got to like 27, I don't know, 50 or something like that, 7 days out from when the season was supposed to end. So I was like, all right, well, we found a pretty positive team atmosphere. We found some good players. We're playing a good comp. Why don't we try to do this? Because no one else was playing Arcane Mage Demon Hunter on the ladder. No one was playing it. No one at all. And we decided that we were going to go in, we were going to try hard, we were going to play and give it our maximum effort, and we shook up the meta because of it. Nobody had played against our comp, so they really tried to, like, there was many different games that we won because the other team didn't know what to do. They didn't know who to kill. And with that being said, we were able to take advantage of those mistakes and win the game. And that felt really nice. It felt really nice being able to play a comp that nobody had played against before and able to take, like, a ton of wins off. A ton of wins. And that's where I'm going to come to the last day of the season. The last day of the season was a day that I decided that I'm not going to make a YouTube video. I'm not going to turn on OBS and record. I'm not going to stream. I'm not going to tweet. I'm not going to do anything. All I'm going to do is log on. I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to drink a Monster. I'm going to go full gamer, no lifer mode. And I'm going to play the game to the best possible way that I can. And I'm going to get a rank 1 title no matter what, and nobody's going to stop me. And when I logged on that day, when my whole team logged on that day, we had the same mindset. We logged on, we played the game, we won 7 in a row, went from 27-30 to 28-90 in about an hour and a half. And that was when everything felt great. Okay, so we played this comp, we started figuring out like what it is that we could do to play the Demon Hunter Arcane Mage combo really well, since it was so new to, it was new to us. And we were able to really land that down, and shout out to Cheerios for doing as much damage as he does. He's pretty crazy. I was able to actually figure out that there's ways to play Arcane Mage to where there's a lot of like counter comps in the world of Warcraft right now that people think like Arcane Mage just dies to, but if you play well as Arcane Mage, you actually don't die to them. You just like, honestly, it's just like an LTP situation where you just have to be better at the class in order to survive against the comps that would counter you, right? So we were all figuring out all those different things, and the last night comes around and we win all these games and we get to 2 wins. We get to 2 wins away from safe rank 1. No one can pass us, 20, 30 people would have to pass us to knock us out of rank 1 for that last evening. We get to 2 wins away, 28-98, the highest rating I've ever been that entire season. And we get a position where we can fight against Vanguards, Yoski, and I'm not sure who the healer was. I think it was like, no, it wasn't Soda's. I don't know. It doesn't matter. They were playing Marksman and Retribution Paladin. And Marksman and Retribution Paladin kills mages really well, but my best comp fighting against is actually against Retribution Paladin and Hunter, because I fought it so many times at lower rating that I understand when I'm supposed to be out of the game. Like, I'm supposed to be super far away from the Hunter and the Ret. And I feel like I was really accomplished versus that comp. And they were like, no, we're going to lose against that comp. Like, Cheerios was like, no, I don't want to fight that comp. And I was like, dude, let's try it. So we queue up. We queue up at like, I don't know, 12:30 or something like that. We queue up. We try to fight against Vanguards and Yoski. We get them. And I click that join enter button when the queue pops. I click it. And then the unspeakable happens. The game crashes for me. And it wasn't my computer, it wasn't my internet, it was the actual game. It was Blade's Edge Arena, which is known to be super buggy this season. And the game crashes, the transfer aborts in the game, and I do not get into the arena just because of a bug in the game, and we lose the match. And we lose the match right there and then. And then after that, everybody on the rank 1 ladder sees that we queued up. And for some reason, there was like so many different people that were trying to snipe us, and we lost the next 3 games. So we lost 4 games in a row, all starting off of a bug that if I would have joined that arena, it's very likely that we would have won, and then we would have queued up again, and we might have won that game too, since we were a little bit tilted, and we would have been safe rank 1 right there. But we failed that. Because of that bug that ruined that whole chance, and we just kind of plummeted from there. So we went down to about 28-30, okay? We took a break, we regrouped ourselves, we untilted, we decided that we were going to give this a shot, and we're willing to go until 5 or 6 a.m. to make that happen. Okay. With all that said, we log in, we queue, we play against whoever, and we actually start winning again. We're winning. We've won like 4 in a row, and we're all the way back up to 28-80. We play 28-80, we get another game, we win. Okay, we get to 28-90 I think it was like 28-97 or something like that. And we're like, okay, we're safe. And then we were like, wait. We look at the ladders, we see a bunch of these players queuing. We're like, wait, these people are going to get higher rated than us and they're going to push us out. We're not going to get our rank 1 titles because there's only a small amount of spots. This season was actually the lowest participation in PvP that has ever happened. Ever. So that means that there's only going to be about 41 Horde US ranked 1 spots. So we have to be at rank 41 or higher to get Cruel Gladiator. And we felt like we had it at the time, but we did not. We started getting a little shaky. We started seeing a lot of people get that rank 1 title out of nowhere. They would just come from like 2,600 on a win streak. They would just get 29-10, right? So we decided that we were just going to like wait. We were going to wait. We were patient. We're only a couple games off. We're going to wait. We're going to see until some queues happen. We're going to see until some teams that we feel are favorable. We're going to play against them. And then we decide to queue up, okay? We decide to queue up at 2890. No. I think it was 2898 again. Yeah, it was. It was 2898. We queued up. We played against a team that we fought so many times before in that season who are also pushing rank 1, and that was going to be AMS, Swag Control, and like Jinyus or something like that. A Survival Hunter, Subtlety Rogue, and Discipline Priest. And I will tell you guys that this was the most intense game of my entire life. Absolutely. We played against them for about 4 minutes, and it was in Dalaran Sewers, which is a favorable map for them. They almost killed us 2 or 3 times, and we ended up ooming the priest. We ended up surviving. We ended up doing a huge amount of damage to the hunter and the rogue to where the priest had to be overwhelmed and ran out of mana. And we ended up killing the hunter and the rogue at the very same time at 2920 MMR against a team that had 2945 MMR. And we got 13 points. And that secured our safe rank 1 title for the rest of the season. The last few hours. It secured it for all of us. Cheerios, Starfail, and me got rank 1 as Arcane Mage, Havoc Demon Hunter, Restoration Druid at 2:30 in the morning CST. And we were able to go to bed that night happy that we got our titles, that all of our hard work paid off, that all of our team play just did it. Like, I don't know how many times, like, I must have been on 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night because I still had to work and Starfield still had to work. We must have been on 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night for that entire week that we pushed through that, and we figured out all of our problems, and we decided that we were going to commit to this and we're going to get that title no matter what. And I am blessed to have found Starfail, and I'm blessed to have a friend like Jake that was able to play this comp with and figure out this meta shift. And I cannot believe that we actually did it, and I'm very proud to say that we did do it, because a lot of this was not only for myself, to prove to myself that I could get that high rating, but was also to prove to you guys that I could do it as well. Because a lot of you guys messaged me saying, you know, hey, I never thought you would actually do it, but congratulations, you did it. You deserve all the respect that you can possibly, you know, look for in this journey. So, you know, that pretty much shares my story of Cruel Gladiator Michael Hogman. Right? I just wanted to share that with you guys. This is definitely something that I would say is one of the best journeys that I've experienced in World of Warcraft. I've had a really awesome experience going for that first rank 1 title, and it's accomplished now. It's done. And now I'm at a point where all I'm going to be focusing on this next season is playing with my friends. I'm gonna push rank 1 probably, but I think that after this rank 1 title and the players that I'm able to play with, I think that rank 1 title will be much simpler moving forward. I think that playing with good players is now more of an option for me, whereas playing with gladiators trying to get rank 1 for their first time is a little bit harder of a push, right? But we made it happen. We killed it, and overall, this was a fun thing for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this story. It was definitely overall a really fun thing for me to do, and I cannot wait to continue doing it and continue streaming it for you guys. I'm streaming again. If you guys didn't know, I'm streaming every weekday, Monday through Friday. And if you guys want to check out my Twitter or my Instagram or my Twitch, I would love for you guys to do that. You can ask any questions to me at any time. I'd be happy to share them with you or answer them for you. And I will let you know when the next Road to Rank 1 push series starts. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all on my streams, and I will see you all tomorrow for another video and another series that we are just now starting. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all very much.